Journey of the Solo Heart, Insecure Attachments, and a Healthier Love. Welcome to Information for Life, insights and ideas to navigate your world, the podcast that invites you on a journey through the complex landscapes of our human experience. Today, we're embarking on an exploration of solo polyamory, the intricate links between insecure attachment styles and dark triad traits, and envisioning a healthier approach to relationships. In the realm of relationships, the concept of polyamory has been challenging traditional norms and opening up new possibilities for connection. Defined by a willingness to engage in multiple intimate relationships simultaneously, polyamory might seem like a radical departure from the monogamous relationships that most of us are familiar with, Henrich and Trawinsky, 2016. Yet, it is within this polyamorous sphere that a particular practice, solo polyamory, demands our attention. Solo polyamory is a unique approach where individuals have intimate relationships with multiple people, but maintain their independence to an extreme instead of choosing interdependence, choosing not to intertwine their lives in the conventional ways often seen in relationships, such as cohabitating, merging finances, or structurally supporting each other's personal and emotional growth in the ways typically seen in monogamous or other polyamorous relationships. Klessa, 2007. When we consider solo polyamory, the question of attachment styles naturally arises. The patterns we develop in early childhood relationships often carry over into our adult ones, impacting how we approach connection and intimacy. Insecure attachment styles, namely anxious and avoidant, manifest in relationships as a pervasive sense of unease, a fear of abandonment, or an aversion to closeness. Machiavellianism and Shaver, 2007. Interestingly, research suggests a link between solo polyamory and these insecure attachment styles. The autonomy inherent in solo polyamory appeals to individuals with avoidant attachment, who typically prioritize their independence and feel uncomfortable with the interdependence that comes with conventional relationships. On the other hand, the multiple relationships in polyamory might provide a sense of security for those with anxious attachment, who often fear abandonment. Moores, Chopik, Edelstein, and Conley, 2015. However, it is essential to tread carefully here. While the correlation is intriguing, we must remember that correlation does not imply causation. Furthermore, not every solo polyamorous individual has an insecure attachment style, and not everyone with an insecure attachment style is drawn to solo polyamory. Human behavior and relationships are too complex to be reduced to a single determinant or pattern, Agnew, 2019. Now one might wonder if this connection to insecure attachment styles paints solo polyamory in a negative light. On the contrary, it highlights the adaptability of the human heart and our innate capacity to seek out relational models that serve our needs and align with our personal inclinations. This leads us to the crux of today's conversation. How can understanding solo polyamory and attachment styles offer a better approach to relationships? Firstly, the awareness of different relationship styles, like solo polyamory, encourages us to question the societal narratives that confine relationships to a single, monogamous model. Recognizing that there are many valid ways to love and be loved can free us from the pressure to fit into a prescribed mold and enable us to build relationships that genuinely reflect who we are. Chef, 2014. Secondly, understanding our attachment style can provide significant insights into our relational patterns, helping us navigate and improve our interpersonal connections. Attachment styles shape our expectations, needs, and behaviors in relationships. Levy, Ellison, Scott, and Bernecker, 2011. People with secure attachment styles, for instance, tend to be comfortable with intimacy and able to rely on others readily. They view themselves as worthy of love and believe that others are generally reliable and responsive. Consequently, they can maintain balanced relationships and are more satisfied with their relationship status, whether they're in a traditional monogamous relationship, polyamorous relationship, or exploring solo polyamory. Contrastingly, individuals with insecure attachment styles, anxious or avoidant, tend to struggle in maintaining healthy relationship dynamics. Anxious attachment style manifests as a fear of abandonment, a constant need for reassurance, and high emotional reactivity to relationship issues. Avoidant attachment style, on the other hand, is characterized by discomfort with closeness, a strong need for independence, and suppression of feelings. Machiavellianism and Shaver, 2007. In the context of solo polyamory, understanding one's attachment style is incredibly empowering. Solo polyamory can provide an enriching platform for securely attached individuals to enjoy deep, meaningful relationships without feeling confined by traditional monogamous expectations. However, for those with insecure attachment styles, solo polyamory exacerbates their fears and insecurities if not properly managed. It's crucial, therefore, to understand and address our insecurities and fears before diving into solo polyamory. For those keen on exploring solo polyamory but unsure of their attachment style or how to work on it, professional guidance can be invaluable. Therapists and relationship counselors can provide tools and strategies to understand and improve our attachment patterns, thereby enhancing our relationship experiences. Mindfulness practices and cognitive behavioral techniques, for example, can help manage the anxieties and fears associated with insecure attachment styles. Siegel, 2007. IDRLabs also has a scientifically validated online assessment that can help determine your attachment style for further exploration. Then, we must have an awareness of the Dark Triad traits that may be present in those who identify with solo polyamory. The Dark Triad refers to a set of 3 distinct but related personality traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. Paulus and Williams, 2002. These traits are characterized by tendencies such as manipulativeness, lack of empathy, callousness, and self-centeredness. They're often linked to behaviors that are detrimental in relationships such as deception, infidelity, and manipulation. IDRLabs also has a scientifically validated free online assessment for these traits. While it should never be used as a diagnostic criteria, it can certainly help you see if there are red flags to speak to a professional about. So, what's the connection between solo polyamory and these Dark Triad traits? The idea here isn't that solo polyamory attracts or cultivates Dark Triad traits. Rather, it's important to consider how these traits might manifest in the context of any type of relationship, including solo polyamorous ones. Solo polyamory, with its emphasis on autonomy, freedom, and non-exclusivity, can, unfortunately, attract and be misused by individuals with Dark Triad traits for their own benefit, often at the expense of their partners. For instance, they might use the independence inherent in solo polyamory as an excuse to avoid commitment, to manipulate multiple partners simultaneously, or to dodge responsibility for their actions. However, it's crucial to note that such behavior is a reflection of the individual's personality traits, or even personality disorders, and not an inherent feature of solo polyamory itself. Some people who identify as solo polyamorous do maintain relationships characterized by mutual respect, open communication, and consent. Just as in any other form of relationship, the presence of Dark Triad traits in a solo polyamorous individual will inevitably lead to unhealthy dynamics. The emphasis on transparency, communication, and consent in solo polyamory could theoretically act as a safeguard against such manipulative behaviors when practiced correctly, yet it's something to watch for and be mindful of. In essence, regardless of the relationship style, the presence of Dark Triad traits results in harmful dynamics and maladaptive coping strategies. The key is to engage in relationships, whether monogamous, polyamorous, or solo polyamorous, with mutual respect, understanding, and empathy, while staying alert to potential red flags that might signal the presence of these destructive traits. On that note, let's talk about a better approach to relationships. Regardless of our relational preferences, monogamy, polyamory, or solo polyamory, the key to satisfying and enriching relationships lies in a secure attachment style and in our ability to understand and respect our and our partner's needs, desires, and boundaries. It's about recognizing that every person is a unique, autonomous individual with their own dreams, fears, and life paths. Whether we choose to walk alongside someone on a shared path or intersect our paths with multiple individuals, what truly matters is that we do so with love, kindness, respect, empathy, and understanding. Remember that regardless of a potential link between insecure attachment styles and unhealthy relationship dynamics, solo polyamory, like any other relationship type, could be a beautiful journey of self-discovery, growth, and connection by a well-adjusted and mentally healthy person. By understanding our attachment styles and consciously fostering secure attachment patterns, we can make the most of our relational experiences regardless of their form or structure.